What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I mounted the Z3M or E36M3 radiator in my E30, and then what we're going to do, we're going to move to the back of the car and we're going to start cutting out the rear wheel well, and we're going to get the rest of the rear end prepped up ready for the rest of the swap. So if you are looking to do this kind of upgrade, obviously the standard E30, if you don't have the bowl here, you have the expansion tank on the side. The expansion tank I'm going to be running is this Mishimoto one. I think this is for the E36 as well. I do need to find a place to mount it, but if you're looking to mount the radiator, if you did have like the expansion tank on the side of your radiator, you'll have a mount like this. What you're gonna have to do, you're gonna have to get rid of this one. I'll put the part numbers that you'll need in the description or on the screen now, and you're just gonna need a little one like this. And then obviously the other side, that one always stays the same. This one just down here. I'll put part numbers up on the screen. You can still get them from the dealers. They're not expensive, like £6-7 quid for each or something. It's not too bad. So this is the radiator we'll be using, guys. It's just a Direnza one. I couldn't really afford a Mishimoto one at the minute. So this is what the radiator looks like. There's no cap on the side of this tank here. That's why you need the expansion tank. You don't have to use a Mishimoto expansion tank. You can use the OEM one. I just want to keep the bay looking clean. We've got the brand new mounts from BMW that you can still get. They're really cheap as well. We've also got the brown coolant temp sensor here, which goes straight in the side. Obviously, if you're doing this kind of swap, or like with the M54 swap with this sensor, it's normally on the block, so the sensor normally grounds itself to the block. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to fixate some kind of like wire on here to ground somewhere on the engine or the engine bay. So we'll have to do that later on with the swap, but it's not a problem at the minute. So what we'll do, I'll show you guys how this fits in now, and the top mount that we're going to be using as well. Right, as you guys can see, the radiator just slots down. Obviously you got to be careful so you don't damage the radiator itself. Okay, that's sat on the mounts on each side. It looks like it fits as well, like it's meant to be there, if you know what I mean. It doesn't look out of place, and it's a massive upgrade because the radiator is so much bigger than the original one. I'll show you what top mount we're using now. Also, guys, nearly forgot to mention, obviously, as this is an upgrade, the core itself is a little bit thicker. If you are planning on doing like an M54 swap or something and you want this radiator, if you look down here, it's quite a tight gap, so this does determine whether you can run a clutch fan or not. So what I'll be doing, I'll probably have like an electric one at the front, like a pull fan to push it all the way through to the engine. The top mount we'll be using is just the original one. I'm lucky enough to be able to like restore things, have like the tools and equipment to do stuff like this, so it is the original one. But yeah, it's really getting me before, but I just gave it a clean with the stuff that I'm able to use, and I just gave the plastic like a little restoration with some like plastic spray. I got the new mounts from BMW as well, as they're still available. It all lines up as well, like these rubber mounts, they sit perfectly in here. Obviously you've got the original claw mounts here, which go on here to like clamp it and keep it shut. But yeah, it slides straight in, and those two mounts sit perfectly on the radiator. It keeps it nice and secure. Obviously, I've got to figure out which hoses I need and whatnot. This is what it should look like when it's fully installed. As you can see, it looks really good in the E30 bay, especially with the M54. We've like got the black strut brace, we've got the black radiator, the valve covers black. This is changing. When I bought it, it had some writing and stuff on it, and I tried like painting the plastic to try and get like the Tipex off, but I do like the silver stripes, so I will be getting a new one of those. But yeah, I think it really complements the bay and it looks really clean and tidy. Right, guys, we're finished with the front of the car. What we're going to do now is move to the back of the car. I did say we're going to be looking at the rear wheel well, but what I'm going to do first is show the rear setup that I'm going to be running, and then we'll crack on with the rear wheel well. So this is the setup I'll be running, guys. Believe it or not, because of the amount of rust on it, it is a 1.9 Z3 rear end. It's also a 5-lug conversion for the E30, and because my E30 was the 1.6, it's got drums on the back, so it's a rear disc brake conversion as well, which is really good. I've had the main rear beam sandblasted, and it's just got edge primer on it. I plan on doing the same with all these, with the trailing arm, sorry. When I've stripped them down, these will be getting blasted as well. I'll be obviously getting poly bushes here and here. It'll be the Powerflex Black Series, same as the front. The diff needs restoring, seals changing, and just a fresh coat of paint. But yeah, I'm quite lucky because this is actually a straight bolt on, so wheelbase is the same, can use the same shocks for those as well, so it just bolts straight back on. So what we'll have in the near future is some videos of me stripping all this down and slowly restoring it for the rear end of the car. And then once we've got the 5-lug on the back, we can do the 5-lug conversion on the front, and then that means new wheels. So yeah, exciting times, guys. But what we're going to do now, we'll get on to the wheel well. Right, so we're in the boot now, guys. If you're planning on doing this yourself, taking the rear wheel well out, obviously you've got to go through the pros and cons first. Obviously pros is when you're working underneath, you've got more room to service your diff and everything. You can make it removable as well. It weighs less as well. There's probably a few more, but cons, obviously you can't have a spare wheel. That's about it. That's all I know really. Another pro, probably you're removing probably a lot of rust, because these tend to go really bad. So if you're planning on removing these yourself, what you got to do is take off like the seam sealer all around the sides here to expose the spot welds. You can do that with like a wire brush or whatever. I've got one on a drill, so what I'll do is I'll go around it and then I'll show you what to do next. Guys, we've got all that off with the wire wheel. As you see, it's taking it off pretty nicely. You can see where the spot welds are. We've got one there, we've got one there. So you can clearly see them, they go all the way around. So there's a lot more than I was thinking, but if you go for it, you can probably get that done within like 5-10 minutes. So what we're going to do now, we're going to centre punch all these and we'll start drilling them out. If anybody else is planning on doing this, obviously, or if anybody knows how to drill out spot welds, you can get spot weld drill bits, but for what we're doing here, we don't really need that. For all the stuff I did in the engine bay when I was smoothing it out and trying to put brand new panels in, I used a spot weld in a spot weld drill bit then. But if you want to go just straight through these, I just want to get it out and then we'll be like putting new metal in anyway, so it won't be OEM, so we'll just go straight through with this. But if you are planning on going straight through them, I'd recommend a cold bolt drill bit. Just a lot sharper, a lot more stronger than the like the stainless steel ones. I think they're stainless steel or brass ones, I don't know, but these are a lot better. All the spot welds drilled out, guys. Another tool I suggest you owning if you're doing any work like this is a spot weld chisel or like a panel chisel. So once they're all drilled out, you want to look for like a little edge around here, because obviously this wheel well, it's got like the rim ends just around the seam where they obviously put the seam sealer. So what you want to do is you want to find a little bit where you can get your chisel in, like in a low area like here or like this side. What you want to do is with a hammer, it's a bit loud with this, so I'll turn the volume down. Get your chisel in, just start knocking, and you should see the wheel well start coming up. There we go. As you can see, that started lifting. I can get my finger in there now. Show you with a screwdriver. Got quite a thick screwdriver here. You can get it in there. You can start bending it up. You can start separating it. So yeah, we should have this out in no time. Right guys, wheel well is out finally. was a bit of a chore. Hardest part was probably knocking round the seal around the edge here to separate it from the boot floor. But it's a good job we took this out. There's a bit of rust inside the boot. I'll show you guys that in a minute. But also, this looks like that. The wheel well itself is just rusty anyway. This, you move this, and you can hear it all cracking underneath. It was riddled with rust. I mean, like, look, it's had plenty of repairs done on it before. And there's obviously a hole coming through here, but yeah, it wasn't worth keeping that. So it's a good job we're changing it, and we're just going to put, there's another hole there as well, and there. So yeah, it's a good job we're changing it. We're just going to put some flat metal in there. I know, I think Garagistic, they do one. I think it's like $60, obviously American, but then you got to get it shipped over. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I might just make my own like flat plate, measure this, and then cut it myself. But yeah, I'm really happy this is out. I'll show you guys the rust in here now. So we had a little bit of foam in here. It's quite normal obviously because there's like a seal here, so water's going to get in once the rear tyres splash it up. There's a little bit there and another little bit here. So what we're going to do is we're going to tidy this edge up here. We're going to hammer all this back straight. We're going to sort the rust out with the wire wheel. Hopefully it's nothing too bad, it doesn't go too far back. Yeah, straighten this out and then we'll put some etch primer on it. Right, so what we're going to do now, guys, obviously once you've drilled it out and you've been smacking it with the chisel and the hammer for a while, you're going to start bending metal. So the best thing to do is get like a flat edge, get like a hammer or something, or you should really use like, you can get like proper dent hammers or whatever. And you want to put it underneath and you're just going to slowly tap away and it's going to straighten out the metal. The reason that you have the flat edge is so you don't, like places like this, you don't press it down too far. Once that's all straight, we'll sort out the rust. And that's it for this week's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm going to get the wheel well delete plate measured up so I can order that and we can get it welded in for the second part of that video. I'm going to look at the hoses for the radiator so we can get that installed with the expansion tank and we can leave the engine running for longer. Also, thank you for 100 subscribers. I've got a giveaway on my Instagram, so be sure to go check that out. I'll leave a link from Instagram in the description. Make sure you go into that for a draw-in giveaway. If you like the video, leave a like down below. Comment what you think I should do on the E30. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in a video next week.